Listen, listen. We've all heard our parents say, listen. We've heard teachers say, listen. We've heard our friends say, listen, listen. So I'm going to make a presentation to you today entitled Listening and Customer Service. Alternatively, you could call this presentation Listening and Customer Experience Management. Either way is fine. Because in the last 20 years, in my experience as an advertising practitioner, in my experience as a lecturer, a senior lecturer, an associate professor, a professor of marketing, in my experience in Ghana, my experience in Liberia, my experience in Sierra Leone, my experience in the UK, my experience my whole life, I found that listening is a critical skill for the formation of profitable and positive relationships for the enhancement of all mankind. Listening. And I've been in situations where huge accounts have been lost because somebody failed to listen. Sent a customer a wrong solution who decided, this is more than I can take. I'm sorry, I have to stop working with you. I've been in a situation where people have lost money because they didn't listen. I've been in a situation where people have lost bids on proposals because they didn't listen. So listening is a very important ingredient of successful relationships within a company, and then successful relationships between companies and their external customer audiences. So let's start by defining listening. What is listening? Listening is receiving language through the ears. In fact, I've heard it said humorously that the reason why we're created with two ears and one mouth is that we are supposed to listen twice as much as we speak. So listening is very important. And it involves the identifying the sounds of speech and processing them into words and sentences. Now, listening in any language, whether it's Wolof in the Gambia, whether it's Hausa in Nigeria, whether it's Ga in Ghana, listening in any language requires focus and attention. So it is a skill that some people need to work at harder than others. People who have difficulty concentrating are typically poor listeners. Now, if you have to listen in a second language, it requires even greater focus. Let's say you work in a bank based in Ghana, which is predominantly English, and you have a high net worth customer with maybe $500,000 in a current account and another $2 million extra in investment accounts with you, and the guy is Ivorian, speaks broken English, and is always trying to speak French so that you interpret in English. My goodness, that's even a greater hassle. But whether the communication is coming in English or French or Hausa, you have to strive to be a good listener. So why is listening so important in the delivery of service to external customers of any firm? Because listening forms the foundation of any effective customer service interaction. And it is one of the most powerful tools available for turning a negative experience into a positive one. Look, nothing excites an angry customer more than seeing a customer service representative, a branch manager, actively listening to them vent and say why they are so angry, in order that that active listening will translate into the formulation of effective solutions to address the negative situation the customer has been through. Research has shown that both participants in a conversation feel better when they perceive the other party is engaged in active listening. meaning that active listening has the potential to increase satisfaction for both employees and customers of a firm. Listening is also one of the most valued skills that companies are nowadays seeking employees. 60% of your workday, you check it out, 60% roughly, is either speaking or listening. And that's why it's so important to develop listening skills in order to improve your customer service delivery capacity. Now, customer service employees, frontline employees, client-facing personnel who have effective listening skills also have the opportunity to strengthen business relationships. So customer service staff who lack listening skills can get tied up in fruitless and unnecessary misunderstandings that could make a negative situation even worse and end up causing customer attrition and eventually loss of profitability and maybe loss of market share. So listening is crucial, very, very crucial in the delivery of superior customer experiences. So if you want to demonstrate empathy, which is one of the most sought after attributes of any customer service champion, all empathy typically begins with active listening. So the absence of empathy, I tell you, is one of the most preeminent causes of service failure in a lot of institutions operating on the African continent today. So active listening skills like eye contact, body language, showing an interest in what the customer is saying, can all signal to the customer that we are engaged in a conversation and we are empathizing with you and we mirror what you go through. We relate to what you're going through and we are listening actively enough in order to devise the best solution to counter your negative situation. Now, listening also keeps the focus on the customer experience. So, customer service conversations shouldn't be about fanciful products, subjects in a department that you want to sell, skills of employees. They should always be about delivering superior customer emotions and delivering customer delight and about delivering superior customer experiences. Because when you deliver superior customer experiences, you create the platform for positive emotions to begin to swell up and fill the relationship you have with the external customer. Now, committing your full attention throughout the conversation through active listening keeps the focus squarely on the customer and ensures that the interaction proceeds with their needs as the primary driver of the interaction. So their needs are kept preeminent when you listen actively. Now, finally, before I get into other aspects of listening, I will close out this first subcomponent on why listening is important by saying that listening is an excellent corporate improvement mechanism, especially how it relates to improving customer experiences. Because one of the most powerful ways to improve organizational performance, organizational profitability, customer experience, is to train your team members to not only listen carefully, but to document what they've learned from their conversations with the customer. Now, customers are the best source for details about organizational successes and failures. And often, what they may transmit to you as an employee may be unscripted, it may be unstructured, but that unscripted and unstructured feedback becomes data that provides the best insights into the experience we are providing for them as customers. So we as employees are providing service to external customers. They may give us careful, careless, unscripted, unstructured feedback, but if we capture this in a conscientious manner, it becomes data for us to use to improve the service experience. So often, some of the best data comes from conversations at the front line that can be recorded and fed back into our customer relationship management strategy. And that data will only be as strong as the listening skills at the customer interface where the conversations are being gathered and transformed into data that can be used to improve our customer experiences. So there are a couple of myths about listening, and I'll deal with them very quickly and move on. Well, listening is natural. We all hear, we listen. We are not deaf, we listen. And it's supposed to be as automatic as breathing. Once you're breathing, you're listening. Everybody can do it easily. There's nothing to learn about it. Listening is listening. No big deal. But the truth about listening is that without effective listening, without active listening, there's no communication. Because communication is not only about what you are feeling or what you think. Communication is also about digesting information that's external to you and using that to devise responses that carry meaning and value to the customers you are dealing with. So listening is a master skill. And competence is achieved only through learning and practice. Listening takes time. So you have to take time to listen. And it's a skill that requires constant sharpening. So let me start by giving you some guides to listening. One, when you are speaking to somebody, pay attention. I remember my late father several years ago, 25, 26 years ago, he was explaining something to me in economics. I think I went to him about Adam Smith or something. And whilst he was explaining, I was holding an orange and I'll throw it and catch it, throw it and catch it. My father looked at me and said, Bob. I said, He said, will you stop throwing the orange and concentrate on what I'm saying? And I said, oh, Daddy, but I can hear. I don't want to tell you what happened next. But the thing to notice, when you are listening, don't let your mind wander. You can't be throwing a tennis ball and catching it and telling your customer your ears are the ones. So please, don't go there. If you are listening, focus. Don't let your mind wander. Focus on what is being said. Focus on how it is being said. Maintain eye contact. Face the speaker. Listen even through distractions. Look, if you have somebody who's angry in your office as a branch manager and you are in a corner of the branch, even as the guy or lady or customer is speaking, there will be things going in the branch that might also warrant you looking around. Please, don't be distracted. Listen through distractions. And as much as possible, remove emotions from listening. Because if you entangle emotions with listening, you'd mess up your capacity to receive the message in its best form. When you're listening, don't avoid emotional involvement and don't interrupt. Let them speak to the end before you take over from what they said. It's always better and courteous in that way. Other listening skills I recommend to you as you strive to become a customer service champion is keep an open mind. Wait for the speaker to pause before you ask clarifying questions. Don't impose solutions on the customer when they are speaking. Pay attention to the speaker's body language, their facial expressions, their gestures, and their posture in the interaction with you. Here are some ways by which you can improve your listening skills. One, don't be distracted by your own thoughts, feelings, or biases. Look, we all go to work every day carrying domestic challenges, carrying marital challenges, carrying spiritual challenges, carrying health challenges, carrying exercise challenges. You don't take that into the workplace. So I want to strongly encourage, when you get into the workplace, be 100% professional. Don't be distracted by your own thoughts. When listening for long stretches, write notes. Write notes. It's only a fool who doesn't take notes. Because I don't care how photographic your memory is, you can forget certain things. There's this bank managing director who I like so much. He's southpaw. Anytime I go into a meeting with him, he'll whip up a big writing pad and start taking notes. And I tell everybody I meet, if a bank managing director can take out a notepad and write notes, you who are meeting with him, why don't you have a notepad and why aren't you taking notes? Why are you there like some God who can't forget? Don't do that. Take notes.